Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. So, can you see my slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
Sir.
Okay. Thank you. So, yeah. So let's get started today. So, my plan today is to focus on these three things. So, we have been talking about backpropagation in the last time. So I showed you a simple example, backpropagation on a simple network. It's just like one input, one output, and a couple of hidden nodes. So it's simple network. And we tried to, I tried to show you how you can compute the gradients using simple chain rule. Okay, but essentially in real world, you have to deal with a very big network with lots of hidden layers, lots of neurons, and things like that. So today you are going to see how this backpropagation is actually works on big network. And at the end of it, you are going to see a closed form complete formula. Okay. So it's a very simple algorithm. Like it seems like a very little complicated, but it's actually not. It's a very simple algorithm, simply based on like this chain rule of derivative. Okay. So we're going to see that. And then I will talk about two important things when you actually train your network. This is batch normalization and regularization. Okay, and so that's essentially the today's topics that I'm going to focus on. Okay, so so just quick recap of what we have been doing, because we will be standing on this foundation today, so that you have input, one input here, you have output, you have a bunch of hidden nodes or hidden neurons in this. So all you really need to do, first of all, you need to compute the inputs and outputs, like inputs to every node and output from every node or neuron, okay, and every layer, and compute it. And so right from the starting position, like from X, okay. So and then you compute the final output given by the network, which is O3. So this pass is called the forward pass, because you are taking the inputs, then you are passing through this network, finally you're computing the output. This is called forward propagation or forward pass. Okay. Now you define an error function. Now for a particular configuration of values, for example, the values of these weights and biases, what would be the error? Okay, error of prediction. Okay, so you compare O3 to to Y. Y is basically the gold standard data. O3 is predicted by your network. That's the error function. People use other kind of error function. Okay, so like logistic loss and things like that. But anyway, the objective is basically to see how well your network is actually doing. Okay, so once you have the error function, then you go and compute the partial derivatives of this error function with respect to all the model parameters, the weights and biases and all. So you need to compute the partial derivatives of all the parameters in the network. Okay, and you have seen why this is necessary, because you have seen in gradient descent, this is how we are going to optimize this error function, right? In this case, minimize this error function. And so the fundamental thing, of course, you need to compute all the partial derivatives with respect to the error function for a particular network. Okay, and so the backpropagation is nothing but, which I mentioned already, is nothing but an efficient way to compute the partial derivatives. Okay, it's nothing new, nothing extraordinary in it. It's just an efficient way to compute. Somebody could have come up with a different approach. It's perfectly all right. But this is just an efficient way to compute when you're dealing with neural network. Okay, so that's what you do. And you have seen how we can basically apply the whole thing, moving backward from E2 and so on and so forth, depending upon the chain rule and all. Okay, so that was the kind of the thing. Now today, and this is a simple network. Okay, and this shows essentially how backpropagation actually works. Now today we are going to look into on a slightly bigger network, and we'll try to formalize this whole thing, to come up with a closed form formula. Okay, how it comes and how you can basically do your own stuff when you have to deal with this different situation. So I take this particular network. This is a fairly general network. You can think about it. It's a, of course, fit for all neural network, fully connected neural network, because every layer is connected to the next layer. All nodes are connected. So that's called fully connected network. And we will show you later on when we will be dealing with CNN and RNN later on. So then you will get to see how we can change, make little bit of changes in this backpropagation to suit that. But for the time being, so we just focus on the feed-forward neural network. This is going to be the foundation. Okay. So here what you can see is that you have bunch of layers. So you can see that there are actually 1, 2, 3, 4 hidden layers. Okay. There is one input layer involving two inputs, x1 and x2, and you have the output called z. So for a one sample, so one particular sample, you have two features x1 and x2. Okay. For a sample, you have two features x1 and x2. You are simply putting that features into your network, and your network is finally going to produce output value called z. Okay. In this case, z means the output produced by the network. Okay. And all you have to basically do, you have to compute all the parameters values of this particular network. Okay. Now, a couple of notations which I have written down here. Okay, it's important to understand that, as you know, that every neurons in the network will have some input and some output. Okay, so I basically have to figure out all these things. So basically, the notation capital Li means the neuron, the input to the ith neuron of the lth layer. For example, if you think about it, for instance, so if you look at particular neuron, for example, or maybe particular neuron in this particular example, maybe this one. So this is basically I21 because this is the layer number 2, okay, and then node number 1. So I simply numbered this from top to bottom, the node numbers, so that you can understand. So these numbers are basically the layer numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this number is basically 1 and 2 means this particular neuron means the first neuron in the layer number 2. Just the notation, you could have used a different notation for this one, not a big deal. Similarly, very consistent notation I also have used for output because every neuron is going to produce some output after some activation function. So you basically have this output. So OLI means the output of the ith neuron of lth layer. Okay, it's pretty consistent. And already mentioned that output is nothing but activation function applied on the input of this network. Okay, so you take some input in that particular neuron, you apply some activation function, you are going to get output. That's a simple, plain and simple things. And we have seen different kinds of activation functions, okay, in the last lecture. All right. Now that, okay, all right. So this is the network that I have. And as you know, that network will have a set of weights and set of biases. And my objective would be to find out the good values of these weights and biases. That's what I want to do. Okay, nothing else. All right. So let me just introduce this notation for weights and biases, so which I mentioned. So I will use this particular thing W L I J. Okay. Remember that for every consecutive layers, layer 1 to layer 2, you have basically a set of weights. So nothing but a matrix. So it's like M cross N matrix, something like that. And you have for every layer. That's why just I have this one. So it means that WLIJ means that, basically, connecting layer L to L plus 1. Okay. And neuron I to J. Okay. So essentially it is telling that a neuron in lth layer, okay, connected with a neuron in L plus 1th layer. So neuron number is I in the lth layer and neuron number is J in the L plus 1th layer. So that's the connection weight. Okay, so something like this, you can think about it. Okay, something like this. So I have for everything. So it is indexed by L, the layer number, as well as the thing. And you also have the bias. Okay, so which I denote by this one. Okay, so this is basically the bias of ith neuron of lth layer. Okay, so that is the kind of thing that basically we have to do. All right. So that is just a notation because all I have to do, I have to find out all the parameter values here. Okay, if you can think about this particular network, there will have like a bunch of parameters, W's and B's and so on and so forth. Okay, so now my job would be to figure out the good values of W's and B's using backpropagation. Okay, so let's see how we can do that. Okay, so let me just first write down the inputs and output in a general format because I have to play with this input and output. Whatever you're going to do, you have to first, before you basically do backpropagation, you need to know the inputs and output to each nodes. Okay, so let's basically formalize this whole thing. Now with the notation in the previous slide, so the input to a particular node, okay, so input to a particular node, so this is I, Li, okay, the input to ith neuron of ith layer is this. This is the bias plus sum of, say, this thing. So I will use this one in sub L, basically the number of neurons in LF layer. Okay. There's some connection issue. Could you please confirm that you can see my slide?
Yes, sir. I can see that.
Yeah. So there's some connection issue. All right. So in this case, so how can I basically write down? So remember that for example, I want to compute the input to this particular node. Okay, this particular node. So for example, I simply want to compute it, and I'm just going to generalize the whole thing. So basically, then I have to basically multiply the output from this node into this weight, then output from this node, so output from this node into this particular weight. That's what I have to do, plus the bias, and that is what exactly I'm going to do. Okay. So the input I can write down in this form. So this is W J I, okay, L minus 1 into then output L minus 1. So please verify if this is correct. Let me know if you have any doubt, any question on this. This is just a general form. Yes, please.
Sir, it should be like summation from j is equals to 1 to number of element in L minus 1.
So NL denotes, okay, this is a little bit of notational things. NL denotes the number of neurons in LF layer.
Sir, j should vary from 1 to n of L minus 1. No?
Right. So
But
I can compute. Yeah, right, absolutely. Yes, this is L minus 1, right? You are correct. Yes, you are correct. Right. Because from the previous layer, I am computing it. You are right. Absolutely right. Okay. All right. So this is the input. Similarly, what would be the output for a particular neuron? So the output, and consistent with my notation, which is this, is nothing but f of I L I. Right? Just see that f is the activation function. So you can choose some activation function the way that you like. Okay, it could be say ReLU, it could be tanh, it could be sigmoid, it could be Licky ReLU, something like that. So because I basically have to come up with a generalized form for this particular algorithm, so I'm not taking a specific thing, but you can basically take anything and simply manipulate it. It's a pretty trivial stuff. Okay. Now any question on the input and output? Okay. So the way it works, like for example, now when you are training a network, you have like bunch of samples, that means feature vector and the corresponding output level and all in the training data that you have. then you have the initial values of these parameters which you randomly initialize. Okay, and then you can basically apply this formula and compute input and output of each and every neuron in the network. So this is called the forward pass. You can very easily compute it. Once you have these initial values of W's and B's, and you know the activation function, and you know the sample, then you can basically go and compute it. Okay, this way you can compute and compute it. All right, but you have to find out good values of these parameters. So you need to adjust a little bit. And this, the whole purpose of this backpropagation, how we can find the good values of these parameters. Okay. All right. Now let's move on to next part. Now, say I want to take a very specific thing, try to derive the whole thing, and then I will gradually get into generalized form. Okay, that's the way that I'm going to proceed. So, say for example, I want to figure out, say this one. Say for instance, this particular. Sorry. Okay. So this particular word I'm going to deal with now, because I have to find out the partial derivatives of all these error function with respect to all these like words. So I'm just going to see that how I can find out that, and then I will go and generalize the whole thing. Okay. Now, what would be the weight, the notation of this weight in this particular case? Can somebody tell me? W what? So say I denote this error function, which is basically, say this is half of z minus y whole square, where y is my gold standard, z is the input given, output given by the network. So this is my error function. Okay, I just add it down. So that's basically error I have to optimize, not the z. Okay. Now for this, the parameter pointed to by this arrow. Okay, this is the parameter, say weight parameter I'm going to deal with now. So this is what I am to really want to basically take the partial derivative of this error function with respect to del W, and then what? Can somebody suggest? What is this parameter corresponding to this connection? The weight on. Yeah, please.
It's W11 layer 2.
1 layer 2. Okay, perfectly all right. Okay, so I am interested to compute this one. Say, because I have to compute anyway everything, but I just want to focus on this one and see how actually I can compute the whole thing. Okay, all right. Now, so now let us go back to our the chain rule of derivative, the thing that you know. Okay, with respect to E, I have to compute it. So del E, del W2 1 1. Okay. So remember that E is a function of what? This neuron is taking some input. Okay. This neuron taking some input, and the input involves this parameter W2 1 1, because from this particular neuron on onwards, the entire network, okay, from these particular things and so on, everywhere, okay, in every neurons in the network and everywhere, this parameter W211 is going to influence. So this influence starts from here. Okay. So basically you can compute the input to this one, okay, with respect to this one, W211, and then it is going to influence this whole thing. So therefore, what I can write it down in this way, that I can basically write it down in this way using simply chain rule, because I know the E is a function of input to this particular neuron. Okay. So what I can write it down in this way. So this is basically del. Okay. So del I. So I'm basically going to compute this one. So it is del I 3 1. Okay, this is the input to this network into del I 3 1 del W 2 1 1. Okay, if anybody disagrees with this one, this expression, any disagreement? Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that E, okay, E depends on this I 3 1, and then I 3 1 depends on this W 2 1 1. If you simply look at this in this way, it will be very clear, because W 1 1 2 1 1 influencing I 3 1 and I 3 1 influencing E. Okay, so basically I can write it down in this way in the simplest format. Now I need to expand this little further, this particular expression, but this is the very first step which I can basically write it down. Any objection from anybody?
Sir,
Yes, please.
sir, wouldn't it be in brackets del I1 by del W 1 1 of 2 layer plus del I1 of 3 divided by del W of 2 2 of 2 layer? Because del I1 of third layer would be sir made with the clubbing of both the weights of
But
layer.
I am interested right now which how much change I am going to see in E with respect to del W 1 1. So the influence of del W 1 1, that particular weight only.
So sir, that would be automatically 0. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because that's automatically zero. Yeah.
Okay.
There is no point of computing that because they are not dependent actually. Right, so only that part of the network you have to consider where you are basically influencing using W211 only. Okay. Or any question you have?
No, sir, not for me. Thank you.
All right, okay. So basically, this is the two expression that I have is basically this one and this one. Okay. Now this is all right, but then del I3. So this particular thing which is coming on here, this is going to influence the whole network again. Okay, so I have to expand this little further again. Okay, because I still do not know how to compute it, so I have to basically extend this further. Okay, so how can I do that? Okay, now here is how I can basically proceed, and basically very simple approach that anybody can take. So here, if you look at this, so I just use a shorthand again. I don't want to write the long expression again and again, so I will just use this one. I just shorthand I will use. So del 3 1, okay, and then del I 3 1 and del W 2 1 1. Okay, I just use this shorthand for this one. Okay, now whenever I will say delta Li, that means basically you are derivating with respect to this and so on and so forth. That's the shorthand. Okay, now basically I have to compute now this one. Okay, how I can basically compute that. Now let's look at carefully how the network is getting influenced by a particular value, and then we can basically very easily compute it. Okay. Now here, I just want to copy this thing. It's difficult to copy anywhere. Let me just write it down here first. Okay. So now what I know is that del del E del W, this is just W211 is equals to del E del I31 into del I31 with respect to del W211, that item. Okay. Now carefully look at this particular expression. I can very easily compute this one. I'm not really worried about this one because I know how I depends on W11, so I can compute it later on. But the part which I need to focus on more is this particular part. Now look at this, what it is. Now the thing is that basically this particular node I am considering, right? So input to this particular node. Okay. Now the input to this particular node, in order to compute this one, okay, I need to compute the derivative of this particular node also. Okay, this node and this node. Because the I is influencing this node, then that is basically producing some output. This is going to influence this particular nodes and so on and so forth. Okay, and in this way you can basically proceed. So if I can compute the whole thing with respect to this, then I can recursively find the formula and just do it for all the nodes here. Okay, so let me just focus on this particular part. Okay. Now how can I compute that? Now I am interested to compute del E del I31. Okay, that is what I am going to compute now. So how I can compute that? Now remember that. So del E del I3 is coming here. Okay, it is producing some output. It is going here. It is going here, and so on and so forth. And this is how we're going to influence the whole thing. So what I can actually compute, I can compute del E. So for example, for the time being, focus on this particular neuron only, because this is influencing two neurons. I'm just focusing on this one by one. So first focus on this particular neuron. If I focus on this one, then what I can do? So del E, I can write it down in this way. Del E del I411, right? Because this is the input. Then del I411 with respect to the output of this previous neuron, which is basically del O31, and then del O31 with respect to del I31. Anybody has any objection? So this is the key to everything. This is a simple step. So what I'm trying to say is that now how this I31 is going to influence the network, the E. So I31, okay, going to influence this particular output of this neuron. So that output is going to influence this particular neuron and so on and so forth. So let's focus on this neuron only. So I can write it down in this way, that del E with respect to del I411, okay, of this particular neuron. I41 is getting to influenced by then O31 of this particular thing, and then O31 depends on I31. So this is the way I can write it down. Okay, so this is for this particular neuron only. But the I31 also influencing this neuron as well. Okay, not only this one, this neuron as well, because this I3 which is coming basically, coming from here, influencing the whole thing, is also coming to here as well. Okay, with different weight and all. But So I have to basically compute that for as well. Okay. So just like simple like derivative rule, that because they are influencing these two. In addition to this, so I have to basically do this thing for this particular neuron. Now I will consider. So what will be the expression for this one? Can you please suggest? Del E del
by del I 1 to layer 4.
1 to 4. Okay, then into
Del I 1 to 4 by del O 1 3.
Yeah, can you say again del I 1 to
layer 4
okay,
divided by
del
O
what? So
1
you have to
layer 3.
Yeah, 3 layer 3 and then 1 and then what? Del O31 with respect to del I
113.
this one, right? Any question?
Yes.
Okay. So for example, if you have a network like say for example in this particular layer, if there are 3 neurons, okay, there will be 3. So something plus something plus something. So you have to consider all neurons, okay, because this particular input is going to influence all neurons and so on and so forth. Okay. So the purpose of this is basically, my purpose is plain and simple, is that I am going to compute del E del I31 with respect to other neurons. If I compute that, then I can use that same formula to compute the influence of this neuron with respect to the other neurons and so on and so forth. Okay. So just a recursive definition recursive formula I need to come up with. Okay. Now just this is a plain and simple formula. So we can basically manipulate a little bit, just like plain manipulation and things like this. Okay. So after manipulation, you get something like this. Let me just copy this thing. Okay. So if I manipulate the whole thing, what happens here is this. I erasing this whole thing and writing in a compact form. Okay. Now, therefore, how I can write it down? In this way. Then I can write it down in a very simple manner, something like this, that so I can write it down in this way, that del E del I31, because this is the one which basically I need, I need to pay attention to, because the other term is relatively easy to compute. So this is equals to what? I just use the shorthand notation delta 31, which I used. So which is equals to, based on the previous expression, I can write it down in this way, that this is basically delta 41 into with respect to delta O31 into delta O31 with respect to delta I31 plus, okay, plus the other one where it is delta O2 into delta I02 with respect to delta O31 into delta O31 with respect to delta I31. Okay, so this is the formula. Now if I simplify the whole thing, okay, just plain simplification, okay, it will look something like this. As you know that this particular expression, this expression and this expression, this one and this one, this is just the derivative of this activation function with respect to I3. So I can basically write it down in this way, that this I can write it down that f dash of I31, right? I should not have any trouble in writing that, but this is just a common term to all this expression, and I can write it out this way. And then the remaining part is this, that the delta 41 delta 41 into, so this is delta I41 with respect to delta O31 plus delta 42 into delta I42 with respect to delta O31. Okay, so this is just, if I simplify the whole thing, so this something looks something like this. Now we can actually simplify even further, okay, this whole expression a little bit, and then finally we basically come up with a very simple formula actually. Okay, so what is that? Now here what I can see is that if I can simplify the whole thing further, for instance, okay, what I'm going to get, now I can basically make use of my input and output relationship. Okay, now go back to my formula for computing input and output relationship. Okay, remember that you have the formula, okay, something like this, that the input is basically this one. The input of anything, for example, here in this case, the input ILI is equals to, as you know, that VLI plus summation over, you can actually find it out, WJI J L minus 1 into, okay, something like this. Okay, that's the input that you have initially. That's the definition of the input and so on. Okay, now if you look at this whole thing in this particular expression, if you simply like derivative with respect to this, and because I know that I is basically, I is a function of O, okay, and here I have this expression. Okay, so how can I basically write it down in a simplified fashion? So I'm just erasing this up just for space constraint, and I just go ahead to formalize this whole thing. Okay, so here now what happens is that from here to here I'm basically going up. So what will happen, that f dash, so this expression will become actually this one, the f dash I31, the same common part, okay, then it is delta 41. Now I simply want to simplify this whole thing further. Okay, now if I basically simplify the whole thing using the relationship, can you suggest what will be the value? I want to simplify this expression, okay, this derivative, and I have this relationship. So if I do that, what will be the value here? Value?
W of layer 3 1.
W of,
Yeah, layer 3
and then
subscript 1.
Then what would be super subscripts?
1.
Only one. So it has to be something like you have connection, right? So it has to be two things. Whether it has to be 1 1 1 2 3
1, 1.
something like that.
It's 1 1.
1 1, very good. Yeah, it's actually 1 1. Plus, then it is delta 4 2 into what would be this one? Any idea? W what?
W of 1 2 layer 3.
Yes. So that is exactly the thing that basically we can compute. Okay, that is how basically we can compute. So this is the essence of the backpropagation. Okay, so you are essentially computing. So this is again I can write it down in this way. So basically delta. This is also I know you know delta 3 1. Okay. So what you can see that you can basically see if you look at this delta 3 1, actually you are computing using delta 4 1, delta 4 2. Okay. Similarly, when you compute delta 4 1, it will basically depend on delta 5 1, delta 5 2, and things like this. So this is how basically you can basically compute it. Okay. So in order to compute this one, you need these two neurons. In order to compute this neuron, you need to compute these two neurons, and so on and so forth. Okay. And that is how. That is why people say this is backpropagation, because if you compute from this direction, from first compute this one, you can reuse this whole thing again and again from backward direction. But that is the recurrent formula. Okay. Now this is for a particular weight. Okay, this is for a particular weight. I can basically compute it. Now let me just try to generalize this whole thing. It will just generalize this expression, and then we will move forward. Okay. So if I try to generalize the whole expression, then what will happen? So this is my network, and I'm going to generalize this whole expression. So essentially what I would really like to do is this. Just erasing this whole thing so that it's a little bit clear, and then we will do the other parts. Okay. So this is actually delta 3 1 is this. I hope you do not have any problem with this one. Okay. Now, algorithm is all about generalization. Like if you generally come up with a generalized formula, this is for a specific thing. Okay. Now, for every node, I have to compute this number. Okay, and then I can basically use it. So if I come up with a general number, for example, so it's basically delta, say L I for any neuron of any layer. If I want to do that, can you please suggest the closed form expression for this one, generalized form? Somebody could suggest what would be this expression. You can just look at the previous expression, then tell me, and then I will tell you general things to remember, anything quickly later on. But first of all, I want you to understand that how things actually work.
So f dash I in layer L into del L plus 1 layer.
Just hold on. I'm not very fast, so yeah, please hold on. So this is this. Okay, all right. Then what would be this other expression? Delta
I in layer L plus 1 into
for this particular network, right? We're talking about, or you are talking about any general network. So if I generalize the whole thing, for example, not think about this one, just generalize network. What would be that? That means any neuron layer would have n number of neurons. Can you suggest any formula? Remember that this depends on these neurons connected with this one. So there would be something like a summation, right? Okay. Summation of what?
A summation of delta layer L plus 1
6k is equals to 1, and then it is n of what? The number of layers and number of neurons in the next layer, right? Which is basically NL plus 1. Make sense? Because it just connected all the connected neurons in the next layer. That is how basically I'm computing. So what would be then delta of what?
delta K layer L plus 1
Delta K layer L plus 1
into W1K
W
WIK layer L.
W I K layer L. Okay. So is there anybody who contradicts with this? Anybody in the audience? Anybody who thinks this is in contradiction to what he thinks, he or she thinks? And this is the key formula that everybody uses in backpropagation. Okay, of course, people simply denote it in vector form, but that's a different issue which I will show it. But that's the essential thing. Basically, this is the thing. Then you can like represent this in the vector form and so on. Now, anybody has any objection to this? I will tell you a general like description in a moment, but that is the kind of thing that we really want to target. Okay. All right. So in this way, you can compute everything for every neurons. Okay. But then finally, if you have say for example L layer in a network, now this is recursive definition, right? Because it depends on this one, this depends on this one, and so on and so on. This is basically computing. So ultimately, I need to basically have a terminating condition, that thing that I need to compute, which will help me to compute other things. So the trick that basically would be if you have L layer network, and so in the L layer network, so in that case, I basically have to compute, say capital L, I denote by this one. Okay. So if you have a L layer network, then I have to compute this delta for the neurons in the very final layer. Okay. So which is could be delta 1 0 or maybe delta 1 1. Delta 1 1, then sorry delta L1, delta L2, and so on and so forth. Because in the final layer, basically I have to compute this one, and only then I can reuse this values because it's a recursively dependent on the other things. Okay. Anyway, so that's the small thing. You probably realize this from the formula, but the final remark that I would like to make, in case you want to remember this whole thing, the relationship, without doing all these derivatives and so on and so forth. Okay. If you simply remember the whole thing, and this is the way you can remember the whole thing. Now basically I have to compute this delta for every neuron in this layer, delta Li and so on. See, if I really want to compute this delta value for a particular neuron, okay, then this expression is basically nothing but the derivative of the activation values of this particular neuron with respect to the input to this. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. So if you look at this expression, this is nothing but the weighted sum of this expression for all the neurons it is connected with. Remember that in this case, while I am computing this delta value for this one, so I know this is connected with this two one. Okay. So if you look at this particular expression, the weight into delta of this one plus this weight into delta of this one, and so on and so forth. So if I have, say, for example, 10 such neurons in this particular layer, this will be weight of neuron 1, delta of neuron 1, weight of delta of neuron 2, and things like this. And in this way, I can simply proceed. Okay, so that's a straight away you can remember the formula. Just a weighted sum, you remember that. This one. multiplied by the output derivative of this particular neuron, and that's it. Okay. So I think I'm running out of time. So I request you to take a quick look at it. Tomorrow we will have the other pending things, and then I will start CNN tomorrow. But I request you to take a quick look on these things, just to make sure that you understand these basics. Let me know if you have any question. So I suggest you that you take a small network, just do it yourself, okay? Because this is the key to everything. Like this is the only way you can train any deep neural network. Okay, there is no other better or well-known way than this one. So I want you to understand this little better. So if you understand this, then you get to know why a particular like network may be difficult to train, why a particular network requires a special kind of activation function, why sigmoid is not good, why ReLU is good, and all these kinds of stuff you can basically understand once you understand this stuff. Okay. So any question? Okay. So thank you. Then see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be starting CNN.